When Billy Sunday was doing his thing, there were 100 people who would gather under the platform before he would preach. Why? They would gather to pray for him. Well, the Tres Dias movement that we're sharing with you, the number you've been invited to come in October, that's based on prayer. Lots of prayer. And that's one of the reasons it's moving and it's working. Extraordinary prayer, and then church growth. We'll talk about church growth now. Sleeping Christians get awakened, nominal Christians get converted, and unbelievers are brought to faith. You notice the baptistry hasn't been filled with water in a long time. Why? Because Christians are sleeping. Why? Because we're content to let the nominal Christians in our life get by without asking them that question. Do you know for sure you'd go to heaven if you died today? I went to seminary in 1993. I had been a pastor for 4.5 years. And to earn a little extra money, I went up to work on a lady's roof with another guy. He said, hey, you want to make $10 an hour? Come along with me. We went up and we worked on a roof. We blew off the debris and all that kind of thing. And then we sat to take a break, and he goes, hey, have you ever given your life to Jesus? And I said, dude, we talked that way back then in our youth. I'm a student at seminary with you. He goes, yeah, I know, but that doesn't mean you're saved. Have you given your life to Jesus? See, he took the risk to offend me. It didn't offend me. He just wanted to know, no, are you really a Christian? Tell me about it. Unbelievers are brought to faith. And that doesn't happen because God gets a hold of them when they take their walk along the ocean or up on the mountain peak. According to Romans, how can a person believe unless somebody preaches to them? How can somebody preach unless they're sent? See, the church is involved in this Great Commission. We are a sending church. We should be praying for the ones who we've sent. We've sent the whole Willette clan down about 60 miles south of us, southwest. We should be praying, Lord, bless them. May they preach the gospel in all those different segments of population that they interact with. May people get saved. We ought to be praying for Mexico and all those deaf people. And our missionary down in Mexico, she spent several years, I think 8, 9 years at the school, Rancho Sordomudo, but now God has moved her. And you should know about that. You should be praying for her. What would you think about the church at Antioch if Paul and Barnabas came back after that first missionary journey and, I'm going to be a mission report tonight at 6. I don't know. I don't come back to church. You know, I don't see revival based on the way we interact with our sent ones. Now, some of the widows, they're keeping track of Kathy over in K-Land, Central Asia. They're keeping track of her. They're getting her letters. They're praying for her. They're praying over her prayer needs. And I'm sure with some of these, they're getting those newsletters from that other family we have that's with the Jesus Film Project. And they're reading it. I heard one just say, I love getting that letter. I really enjoy reading it. Unbelievers are brought to faith through a sending church, through a preaching church. So here's a Bible. And there was a season, I remember this story from Sunday school. There was a season in the history of God's people that although they had the temple, they had lost the book. And when King Josiah, the young guy, he was named king when he was 8 years old, and he's a young man when he's ordering that the temple be repaired. And in the midst of the repairs, a book is found. And it's read aloud to the king. And the king, he sends a great number of people. He says, go and inquire of the Lord for me, for the people, and for the entire nation of Judah about the instruction in this book that has been found. I walked past the Sunday school classes today. I was involved with the youth class just for a moment, trying to get a little tech going there. Before that, on my way there, I popped into the library and looked. Sunday school teacher sitting there all by himself, ready to go, ready for students to come in, prepared. Later on, I walked past a full class of the Genesis class, and there's the brother there teaching away. The place looked pretty alive and packed, and I trust that our seniors class, the ladies at the Golden Circle, I trust they had a great class, and our children in the nursery and the elementary age. Dr. Tim Keller says that in a real revival, the gospel is recovered. The Bible's found, and we get hungry for the instruction in this book. We get hungry to apply what we learn in our Sunday school class. We just apply it. We find something practical to do. Now, I was at church at 6 o'clock this morning. In fact, I showed up early. It was probably about 20 to 6. Woke up about 5:30. I got online, because I got a friend that lives in Orlando, and he attends this church. Most of the time, more often than not, he attends on his mobile app. But the people there actually know him, because he shows up. And a lot of times, he's a maintenance man, and he's got a lot of service calls he has to go on. And he looks forward to when his friend from junior high school, when Rob from California is on. And so I get on, and I know he's going to pop in. He's going to say, "I'm here, brother." And so we watched Pastor Joel this morning. We involved in the worship service, and I tagged a number of people at about 5:45. "Hey, I'm at church. Anybody want to join me?" Dr. Joel Hunter, he was talking about, he said, "Today I'm going to teach you about beginning that spiritual conversation." You know, that's the one I was talking about, that spiritual conversation where you're not just content to have lifestyle evangelism. You know, I let people know that I'm a Christian and that I'm blessed and I'm happy, and then I'll just leave it up to that. Maybe they'll get saved sometime in the next few years. Pastor Joel says, you know, you can start a spiritual conversation. So he took us to this verse. I thought I'd share this with you today. It's a familiar verse, Colossians chapter 4, verse 2. Devote yourselves to prayer. We've already talked about this. I am devoted to prayer and have been continually since I got saved. There's been no season of time where there wasn't a corporate prayer group or a men's prayer group. Definitely my wife and I, we've prayed together regularly. It's our habit to pray together on our way to church. Devote yourselves to prayer. And then I like this one, stay alert in it with thanksgiving. What? That's watch and pray. That's take note of what you're praying about. Maybe write down what the people in the prayer group are praying about, that you might pray about it later during the week. Because you could likely run into somebody that you've been praying for. If there's problems in the church between you and somebody else, problems in your family between you and somebody else, start praying for them, because surely you are going to approach people differently if you've been interceding for them with a sincere heart. You'll grow in your love for them. And those petty offenses that divide us will be seen exactly for what they are, and you'll have already prayed through. You'll watch. God draws near to those who draw near to Him. Devote yourselves to an alert prayer, a thankful prayer, and at the same time, pray also for us. This is Paul and his immediate co-laborers. Pray also for us that God may open a door to us for the message to speak the mystery of the Messiah. This is the Holman Christian Standard Bible. Pray also for us that God may open a door to us for the message to speak the mystery of the Messiah, for which I am in prison. Open a door right here in this prison. Now, when I go to that 6 o'clock church, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. It's their first service of the morning. I pick it up at 6 o'clock, and Pastor Joel doesn't even have his sermon totally together yet. Even this morning, he was kind of joking about it. And this guy tried to retire last year, and then they brought him back. And so he was yielded to the Holy Spirit. He's a wonderful, humble preacher. But regularly, every week, when they welcome the online visitors, They also say, and where the church distributed, and they're at the county jail. Every week they mention that there's a group of people who, for however they've done it, somebody in that jail has arranged for them to be able to gather around a monitor and have church at 9 o'clock on Sunday mornings at the correctional center. Maybe that's somebody like Paul, who just found himself in jail and said, okay, the Lord can use me here too. I know a church that will connect with us. Now let's get back to Joel. Isn't he a friendly-looking person? Well, he had 7 things. He said, first of all, Exodus chapter 36. The people are restrained from giving to the Lord any more stuff. A generous people. I think I remember this. Do you remember? Moses called out for donations, right? Yeah. For the building of the tabernacle, as God instructed. Am I right on that, Joel? Yeah. So, they brought, remember when they left Egypt, for some reason, their masters, the people, gave them precious stones, gave them gold and silver, gave them a lot of stuff. And it's this stuff that they were just the channel